right, so I'm Nick, and I'm joined by Jordan and also Nick.
Boom! Oh, double Nick,
Yeah.
nice. Nice to meet you, Nick.
Yeah, you too, man. So we all have Tourette's, right?
hmm
When were you guys? So I was diagnosed when I was about 9 or 10 years old. What about you guys?
Yeah,
I was in second grade, so probably 8 years old.
Okay.
I was diagnosed, I believe, when I was 12. Well,
Okay.
I think it was sixth grade, something like that. Yeah, around sixth grade. So,
Okay.
yeah, if I think, yeah, something like that.
So you guys were diagnosed from elementary, intermediate school. Did that have a big impact on like school life? Were you guys through public school the whole way through, or how did that work for you
Yeah,
guys?
I was.
So I went to public school for 10 years, and then year 10, I used to hold all my tics in. I used to hold my tics in like throughout the whole day, and then grade 10, I'd say like halfway through the year, I just couldn't hold it anymore, and I just like had a mental breakdown. So withdrew me from school, and I went to cyber school. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I finished on cyber school, like got my high school diploma throughout doing that.
Nice. Very nice.
Yeah. How about you? Were you in public school?
Yeah, I went to public school through 6th grade, and then starting at 7th, I did like a home/correspondence schooling up through high school.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then back in public for college and university. So
Very nice. That's good.
So what you mentioned you get like mental breakdowns holding in those the tics. Was that kind of typical, like when you hold it in?
Yeah, it was kind of like just being in public and like public outings, because I wasn't comfortable with, I'm still not comfortable with like being out in public and like taking loud.
Yeah.
I don't know, just something about like I think because most people like don't understand it. So
Right.
it's like I hate having to explain it, which I will if I have to.
Mhm.
But it's yeah, I rather just hold it in public so I don't have to like deal with that. It is like tough on me, but I usually have like headaches after, and I got to go home and have like a little tic attack. But yeah, I mean, how about you, Jordan?
I mean, mine aren't as bad as his are. But, I mean, I'm okay with going out and stuff, but I mean, yeah, not everyone knows about what Tourette's is, and it's sad.
Yeah. What on that note, what are a few things people tend to get wrong about Tourette's or about what tics are, or your experience in general?
A lot of people just think it's a cursing
Tick.
tick.
Oh, there it is.
Or sometimes they think that I guess you're pretending.
Mhm.
What else? Anything?
Yeah, I guess like some people just don't understand why like you have no control or saying like curse words and just like making noises and things and like facial grimaces, I guess. Yeah, it's even hard for me to understand it, because like I don't fully understand what's going on in my brain. And that's like the hardest part of dealing with it is like wishing you had some kind of understanding of like how to stop them, The weird thing is I can hold it in public, but it's only for a certain amount of time, and then I got to let it out, so it's not like it's forever, forever holding. So, yeah, I guess that's it.
What does it feel like when you hold them in?
Oh, it's like I can immediately feel like a headache.
Yeah.
Around 10 minutes in, I can feel a headache. About an hour or two in, it's like like not migraine, but I can feel like I'm gonna have a headache.
Pain.
Yeah, pain, I guess you can say. And I usually get like muscle twitches too.
It's almost like a pressure buildup.
Yes. And then when I get to my car, my room, I let it out, and it's like squeezing a pimple. It sounds nasty, but like squeezing a pimple, the pressure pops. I'm like yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it makes perfect sense. That's what the tics feel like for me too. It has always been a pressure buildup and learning where to let that pressure go and how to distribute it. So
yeah.
So how would you define a tic attack? I know you're taking more today, maybe than you sometimes do. Would this necessarily be a tic attack for you?
No, this isn't tic attack. I would say they're a little more present today because like I had I had like a little work this morning and then drove for like an hour and a half. Usually when I drive, if I drive for a long period of time, my tics will increase a little bit.
Yeah.
But like right there, that's kind of
You're also
that's
talking about it.
yeah, that's like an annoying one. But
Yeah.
sometimes like I think it's when I'm in public often and like I don't know, or if I'm in my room too long, like it's almost like I don't know, I can't really explain it. If I'm in
If you're comfortable, I guess.
if I'm comfortable, it's a lot better, I should say. Yeah.
Mhm.
But if I'm in like public outing and I'm there for hours, when I get home, I'm gonna have like usually gonna have a tic attack,
Yeah.
and they can last for 2 to 3 hours, 4 hours, and it's usually bad, like ticking just nonstop. They release that pressure, and then it finally just subsides. And
The closer you get to a parasympathetic state, the the less pressure there tends to be out in public. That's gonna build because even if you're not intending to, maybe you're pulling some in a little bit. So you get to your own place and it's like, I can finally release it.
yeah.
And then eventually things will subside.
Yep.
Yeah.
How
What about you? Yeah.
My tics have been somewhat good recently. But I mean, I guess sometimes I do hold them in just because at work, like if I have a cough tic, everyone just stares at me, especially now with COVID and everything. But
Oh yeah.
which that stinks. But
Yeah.
it's not too bad. Then I get a tic attack, but
Remember one time I was in a martial arts class years ago and we were stretching and I kept nodding at my teacher. And then, after we're done, like, he would nod back. And then after we're done stretching, I'm like, no. So like I was nodding at you a lot. That was a tic. I wasn't, he was like,
thought you were getting on him.
Yeah. He was like, I bet you make a lot of friends that way. I'm like, yeah, no. It's one of those just little embarrassing little moments there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or winking a lot at people. It's like, oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Have you ever had the one where like you roll your eyes and the teacher thinks you're doing them?
And mostly when I'm talking to someone important, like someone like outranks me or whatever, and they're talking to me, I'm like all the time. I'm like, no, it's
They're
not.
like, wow, that's rude.
Yeah. If I start doing it, I'm like, so I'm rolling my eyes. It's not at you. But
Yeah.
man, so what? We mentioned kind of being in your own kind of safe space and being comfortable. Is there something that tends to reduce your tics?
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
Yeah,
He
sure.
was talking.
Nope, that was it. Is there something that tends to reduce your tics? Something that you do actively that, if I do this, I'm going to have less tics today or for the next couple hours?
Yeah.
Probably listen to music. Hang out with, I guess, like distract myself doing something with a friend. Watching a movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, they're good outlets, like hobbies. And yeah, I think for me it would be jujitsu, like jujitsu, wrestling, Muay Thai, and stuff like that. Yeah, so I do that stuff like after you're done like grappling, 20 guys, it's like it sounds weird, but like you're just depleted. Like yeah.
No, I couldn't imagine.
Yeah, after like you said you've done martial arts.
Mm.
Yeah, so like martial arts has been like, it's almost like my anxiety medication naturally, It's like after I get done, I'm just so calm and relaxed and my tics are reduced by probably half. And then, within like 2 to 3 hours, my tics will go back to where they normally are. But it's just that release I get for 2 to 3 hours of like where, I'm not hurting or like I'm not, screaming or, like doing something, out of the ordinary. But yeah, that's always been my outlet, like working out and stuff like that.
Awesome. Shared experience. Very cool. Very, very cool. Maybe we'll talk about more of the martial arts stuff later.
Yeah.
Let's see. What have been some of your biggest obstacles in regard to your experiences with having Tourette's and having tics and the comorbidities? I know it's a very, very open question there.
Yeah, I gotta think about that.
Yeah, take your time.
Both.
You go first.
Me? The obstacles. Honestly, for me, it was like everything. Just like, staying in school, being able to hold a job. Like when that stress creeps in and anxiety, my tics get so bad, and just like being in a normal classroom setting. But yeah, like being in a normal classroom setting was very difficult for me. Especially, holding them in and just like, I couldn't imagine if I like let them out what people would have thought of. What would have thought of me, So I don't know. It's just being in public and the obstacles every day, like joint pain. Like I do a lot of stuff with my knees, my arm, my shoulders, my elbows. Like I hyperextend them. Just sore throats and constantly like making noises with snorting and stuff like that. But I would say like it's exhausting. Yeah. It's really exhausting. Like I get bags under my eyes sometimes because I'm just so tired from like dealing with it. And like sometimes just like, working full-time jobs, which I've done a lot. It's just my tics get so bad, and then I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna try to find another job because this job stressed me out too much, so stuff like that. That's the frustrating thing, like trying to just maintain and be successful with it, Yeah. So for me,
yeah, I would probably say keeping friends, I guess. Because they don't understand, I guess.
Did anybody ever like not be friends with you because of it, or?
I guess more of they don't know what's going on, I guess, and they don't understand that I can't control it or stuff. So.
What do they say? So maybe you'll lose a friend, which is ridiculous, but over having this neurological disorder, like, do they say anything or tell you anything and then jet, or is it just like ghosted? Or
I guess it's more they text me and say, I guess, rude things about I don't even know. Like, it's just like dealing with Tourette's, and that they're like, oh well, too bad that you have that, and I don't know.
Is there something someone has told you that has really rubbed you the wrong way in regard to
Tourette's?
Yeah.
Not really. I guess it's just that they like to make fun of you for having that. Yeah.
I had a friend a few years back. We were grabbing some food, we're sitting down, and she was like, oh, I think I have Tourette's too. I was like,
oh my God, yes, I hear that
like,
a lot.
no, I don't. I mean, you don't have any of the symptoms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's almost this.
Like a lot, way more than I guess. People try to just say that because they have one thing or whatever, but.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what's worse, being told you're faking or someone saying, oh, I have it too. I have it too.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I don't know. Sorry, the question was
if someone told you something specifically that you remember that's really rubbed you the wrong way or left an imprint.
Oh yeah, I've had a lot actually. I had a couple people ask me if I was on cocaine. And a dude literally asked me at my old martial arts school. Well, not mine, but I used to train at a gym, jiu-jitsu, and he asked me. It was like we had like a little party and just a UFC party to watch, and we were near the bathroom, and he's like, "Yo, man," he's like, I see your face. I see you making all these. He's like, you got any coke on you? I was like, no. I was like, bro, I have Tourette's.
You're like, yeah, pay me now. I'll bring this stuff next week.
Yeah. So he thought I had like cocaine on me. I was like, no, man. Yeah, and I think, yeah, like Jordan was saying, the inclusion part, it's like I've dated a lot of girls that liked me before when I held it in. And, you know, if I met them at the bar, if I met them at a, you know, like out with friends, they liked me. And then the minute I opened up to them about having Tourette's, it was like ghosted. Yeah. So it's almost like there's a huge stigma on Tourette's as much as people, and, you know, in a way I can't blame them because they don't know about it.
Right.
So I guess like, you know, they don't understand it. So I don't know. I try to like be in their shoes. Like some girls just probably don't want to deal with that. You know, they want a normal dude, you know, that doesn't have Tourette's. I mean, but yeah, I mean, I'm minus the sounds though. You know, I'm just like a normal guy. So yeah, but
yeah.
The noises and
otherwise normal is boring. So I mean,
yeah, yeah. So
yeah, I could imagine that it impacts dating life quite a bit.
Yeah, definitely.
When my stuff was really bad, it certainly did. Although I was on so many medications, I don't know what was going on anyway. So it's probably going that way.
Yeah.
What's your experience with medications? Do you guys if you don't want to talk about it, you don't have to. But if
so
you're
I was
open
on
to
medication for Tourette's. I think when I was first diagnosed with it, and then my tics were fine, so I kind of went off of them, and then I think I went back on it, and then went back off, and now I'm just on anxiety medicine.
Okay.
So, yeah. Do you want to talk about it? Or?
Yeah, I'll talk a little bit about it. I was on a couple medications, like I think it was Abilify, antipsychotics, and I had really bad like akathisia. I don't know if you know what that is. So it's like a restlessness where you can't sit still.
Okay.
So yeah, so it was a terrifying side effect. So I stopped taking that. I was on guanfacine for a little bit as a teenager. That actually was the best medication that took away my tics. But the problem was that it made me so tired 24/7.
Yeah.
And it was like I was literally in class just like zonking out. Like I couldn't stay awake.
Yeah.
Because it's like a blood pressure medicine. So I just even a lower dose, I was just like it was knocking me out. So I didn't really like that. So I went off that, and then yeah, I think I was on an anxiety medication for a little bit, and it didn't really do much, so I just stopped taking it. And recently, since you know I hit my early 20s and into my mid 20s, you know, my tics got bad, so I wanted to try more medication, and they just didn't work at all. So yeah.
Yeah, I've had mixed experiences with medications as well. Mostly bad.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
mixed.
Are you on medication now, or?
No. I weaned myself off when I was in my early 20s.
Okay.
Yeah. Are there certain foods that you eat that you recognize have an impact on your symptoms?
Not that I know. That's interesting, though. I've never heard that before.
What foods?
Yeah, like that would help.
Yeah.
I don't know. Not for me, at least.
So for me, I think, yeah, if I drink caffeine, if I drink caffeine, like it's an instant, and within 5 minutes, I'm like off the walls. Tics are worse. And I get like really weird intrusive thoughts when I drink caffeine. Like my brain just like thinks of like really bad, like anxiety fears. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I gotta stay away from caffeine. You know, it's like, I've never done cocaine, but it's like I'm on cocaine, right?
Yeah.
So I try to stay away from caffeine. I'm like really sensitive to it. So yeah. But I guess like sugar too, sugary foods. If I eat like junk food, I notice they a little bit. They'll increase a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, do you guys have any specific coping mechanisms that I think we talked a little bit about this earlier, things that help reduce your tics, but otherwise, Have you guys found ways for yourselves that help you cope?
I guess like spending time with my dogs kind of helps a little bit. Going to the beach when it's nice out.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean those are probably my main two ones, I guess.
Yeah.
So it's never like going to the club or like doing something high octane, high energy. It's typically something that helps bring you down, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. So with something like Tourette's, or where these, this neurological disorder expresses very, very physically, right? It's a very, your entire nervous system is very involved in the disorder, right? So I'd imagine that along with this, at least in my experience, there comes almost a mandatory level of understanding of yourself and a level of tuning into the body that's kind of required for you to live.
Yeah.
Are there any insights that you gained that you feel you otherwise wouldn't have? Insights into yourself or even your situation or etc.
I guess that everyone's different, and it's okay to be different. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I guess like insights of myself. I've learned a lot about myself. Like it's made me a better person. Like I don't really I'll be honest, when I was like probably like a kid, I was judgmental because when you're a kid, you see someone in a wheelchair, you're like, what's wrong with them, But having Tourette's, I feel like if I didn't have it, I would probably still be like that. But Tourette's made me like a really empathetic person. When I see someone that's like struggling, or I'm always trying to like help them or do my best to like accommodate them in public, like, and especially if I see someone like making fun of them like that, that upsets me as well.
Yeah.
Especially in public. So things like that, I think it's definitely made me a better person, and it's also made me like down, I guess, like more down to earth instead of being just all about status and how much money you have. And for me it's just I've learned a lot about myself because of it, because of the dark times I went through with it. Yeah. How about you? Do you have any good insights or like
into myself?
Yeah, like with your Tourette's.
Oh man, yeah. So when I was in my mid-teens, I started getting really deep into different meditative practices. I'd be that weird teenager in Barnes and Noble in the self-help section, looking up weird, spiritual or psychological or whatever books, and yeah. So I started. The hardest part for me, aside the tics, were the emotional disorders like depression, anxiety, rage. And so for me, it started with understanding of emotions on a very tangible level. So recognizing the emotions physically, and then stopping differentiating them, right? So whether it's, depression or a very deep, dark, intense level of, somewhere on the sad spectrum, or excitement or anger, whatever, I started recognizing them as the same thing, just at different temperatures or different expressions.
Yeah.
And then tangibly being able to manipulate that. And then from there, I started looking at the tics in the same way, right? So then, and this is actually opening up to the next question I had for you, which is what do tics feel like for you? And even before they express as a tic, do you recognize something more tangible?
I guess like when I used to like blink a lot, my eyes would be tired after a day. So it kind of like hurt in a way. But I guess also besides like tiring, I guess just like annoying maybe.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, that's spot on. Like the exhaustion you get. Like I literally did that snoring thing like that. I had to do it 5 times. I was in my room and I was trying to go to sleep the past like 3 nights, and for some reason at nighttime that tic just comes out of nowhere, and I'll do it for 3 hours, and it hurts my throat, my nose so bad, and it's like I can't stop. Like I will tell myself, Nick, just breathe, and then it just comes out. So I'm like, this doesn't work. So sorry, did I get off track? The topic,
No. The question I asked was just, do you recognize your tics before they happen? Is there a pre-tic sensation, and if so, how deep does that go for you?
Yeah, I actually get it all the time. Most of mine are like I can feel the urge.
Yeah.
I can feel the build up, and I have to let it out. And if I don't, it just builds and builds and builds. So mine are really urge. I should say mine are built off of urges. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you notice that pressure shift first, and then, oh shit.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
There you are. Okay, cool.
There we go.
They left. They got tired of it.
What did you say?
Nothing.
Oh.
Is there a piece of advice that you would have for someone watching this that is experiencing the same thing that you are, or going through similar experiences, but maybe it's new to them? Their symptoms just started flaring up.
I guess don't be scared. Try to find people that have Tourette's and become friends with them, and I don't know. I guess it's okay to be different and kind of show the world, I guess, what Tourette's is.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say I feel like depression runs deep in people with Tourette's. Tourette's runs depression and anxiety runs real deep with Tourette's, and I heard like a story, actually. Sorry to get deep, but I heard a story on Facebook from someone with Tourette's that a kid that had Tourette's, he was maybe 9 or 10 years old, committed suicide. So like that right there, if I guess a good message for me to say to anybody out there is like, no matter how hopeless you feel, there are, it might last for a year, it might last for 2 years, but there are people out there that do care about you. Maybe you haven't found that yet, and sometimes you don't feel loved, but you are, and yeah, like that depression can be deep and really like suck the life out of you, but you can overcome it. Never give up, and find ways to cope with it. It could be exercise, it could be I don't know, like Jordan said, like going to the beach with just one friend. It doesn't have to be like, you don't have to have all these friends. You just need good, you need like close, good friends that care about you.
One good friend.
Yeah. So find your group and find your passion. Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. For the parents, they have a kid that has Tourette's, or maybe they don't have a diagnosis, but they're ticking off the wall. They're dealing with X, Y, and Z. What do you tell that parent? What would your advice be to that parent to help them effectively parent their child and help their child through this?
Maybe, I don't know, go to a support group and kind of see what other people are going through and kind of compare. But also, I guess, kind of understand, I guess, where the kid's coming from, that they can't help it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think the best thing, Jordan said it very, like, really well. I also think that just let your kid tick, you know, like, especially as teenagers, kids and teenagers are going through a lot, like just in school in general. So like you throw in the Tourette's, it's like, you know, it's a whole different ball game. And the comorbidities of like anxiety and depression, all that stuff. So I guess the best advice I can give parents is don't lose hope in your child. Don't lose hope in them, because you can be successful with Tourette's, even though, you know, it's going to be challenging. I would just say let them tick, you know, especially the ones that have like cursing tics. Like I have cursing tics, and my parents just would laugh, like in a good way. They wouldn't like mock me. It was like, you know, we would just laugh at it. So it was like, you know, instead of like, Nick, you know, you're being bad, and they knew that it was uncontrollable, and like I couldn't help it, you know. So they never really like yelled at me or made me feel different. I think that's the difference. Like with some people don't have any supportive people in their life. So yeah, that's hard to deal with.
Would you say that Tourette's is like, after years of having it, would you say it's more like an obstacle or an enemy, or would you say it's more like someone who, almost like a really stubborn kind of jackass of a friend?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Yeah. All good, man.
The camera fell. I'm sorry, the camera like fell.
It's all good. Would you say, so for me personally, I've recognized, you know, growing up with Tourette's, even if the people around you are supportive, there's a level of there's something wrong with me, right? And in my mind, that over time steeps into this kind of self-hate and that became one of my biggest obstacles.
Yes.
So at this point in your life, and how you look at your disorders now, would you say that it's like the other, like the enemy, the obstacle that you're like, fuck, I got to deal with this every day and, you know, do something against this? Or is it more like, this is someone who's very stubbornly teaching me more about myself?
Yeah.
I guess a little bit of both.
Both?
It can be challenging at times, and but also I guess it's something that's a part of me, and I have to kind of learn every day with it. So
yeah.
I would say a little bit of both. Like I have really bad days and really good days. I would say more bad days though. It's like it's a battle. You know, I'm always like in my head. I always rejected Tourette's. Like I hated myself probably for like 21 years of my life, right? And I still go through it. I still think that like, you know, if I didn't have it, I'd be a much happier, successful person. That's the biggest thing, because like I've had a rough like past 3-4 years with it. And some days I just want peace. Like I just want to be left alone, be able to sit on my porch without disrupting the neighbors, cursing, or, you know, if someone's running down the street, say something inappropriate, right? It's like, it is funny, but it's like, they
might not think it's funny.
Yeah, but and also it's like it just eats at me, because I just want to enjoy little moments in life, like, you know, in peace. And the Tourette's makes everything a challenge, you know, everything. So that's the frustrating thing about it. Yeah.
Think of anything else I might want to ask you guys before I let you go?
You got to make sure you edit out all the bad stuff.
Yeah.
Impossible. No, I mean, because we're all talking at the same time, but nothing was too bad. So
yeah, but the camera fell like.
Well, you know, whatever.
We'll just add that on a blooper. Yeah, make a blooper channel.
Yeah, before I upload anything, I can send you a link so you can see it, and you can be like, this makes me very uncomfortable. Don't put this up there. I'll be like, okay, I'll take that out. So, you know.
All right, yeah, that would be good.
Cool.
Yeah. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about?
What was that?
Sorry, what'd you say?
Is there anything else you guys want to talk about?
Balls.
I don't know. Anything you want to talk
I don't know.
about?
I got another question for you.
Oh yeah.
Sure.
If you could press a button, a big red button, and you wouldn't have Tourette's or any of your disorders, starting today, would you do it?
I don't know. Yes, I would love to do that, but also it's made me who I am, and kind of found like my real friends and everything. So also no.
Fuck.
I agree.
And also like I'm glad I have Tourette's because like I go to Tourette's camp and I found Tourette friends and like it's like something I really enjoy.
Yeah. Yeah, I think for me, I think I'd hit the button.
That's fair.
I think I'd hit the button. For me, because like I could still have that experience. If they did come out with a cure and I could just like hit a button and like, you know, them cure me, I would be happy with the experience I've had with it. And, you know, like you can still do all those things like go to Tourette's meetings and because, you know, you still have experienced that. But yeah, I just, you know, part of me, I don't think I'm 25 years old and I just don't think part of me will ever just fully accept it, you know? And that's the hardest thing I deal with is just self-acceptance with it. And that's a battle. Like one day I'll be like, yeah, I accept it. And the next week I'm like, nah, I fucking hate this.
Yeah, I understand. Totally understand that.
But yeah. I think I'd get rid of it if I could.
That's fair. It's very understandable.
Yeah.
What's that button do? I don't care.
Yeah. How about you? Would you hit the button or would you?
I haven't noticed your text.
Then a little bit. I mentioned the emotional aspect of things, and so for me, there are some things that I do regarding meditation and different qigong stuff and diet that I will notice the pre-tic sensation, but at a very deep level. So then I can either redirect it or dissolve it entirely.
Wow,
interesting.
That's amazing.
So it doesn't express most of the time. If it's an extra stress, so I just finished midterms last week. I was just
yeah,
you know. And if I go a week without doing any of the things I know help me, then I will start taking it. It's a very either I'm on top of it or I'm not kind of thing.
Yeah. So that's amazing though. How you is that from meditating? Like you've learned how to get rid of that.
Yeah, partially. Yeah, it started with that.
Yeah.
And then through the qigong and the meditation, so in my opinion, tics are an inflammatory cascade. And whether it starts from a chemical imbalance or it starts from something genetic, it doesn't really matter in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because what's happening is that the nervous system is inflamed, right?
Oh, okay.
And so you have a pressure buildup, literally a pressure buildup of nitric oxide, a pressure buildup of gaseous neurotransmitters that stagnate and then release, right?
Gotcha.
And that release could be a tic or could be several tics, right? And then as that pressure variant is leveled out, then things can fall back down into something closer to a parasympathetic state. So all the meditation and the qigong works very directly and tangibly with the nervous system so that you are intentfully able to adjust that.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's almost like your medication in the sense, like your natural way of coping. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yep. That's
I
my
respect that a lot.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not perfect. It's there's always more to learn, but that's what I found works for me. So it's part of why I'm doing this, because I think anybody could do it. I think it's one of those things that it's very difficult to, I think, find people that understand that and they're able to communicate it. But I've heard of other people that have done something very similar. I remember when I was like 16, my neurologist was like, oh yeah, I have another patient with Tourette's, and her parents sent her off to live with like this old couple that taught her like this weird breathing stuff that she doesn't take anymore. I'm like, all right,
my
great.
God.
And here's your meds. Here's
Yeah,
I was like, all right, but
Yeah.
I think there's a lot to discover about the world that is just, so incredibly fascinating. There's always more to learn. So
definitely, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
and you guys are helping. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Well,
Yeah,
thank
thank
you.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Nick. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you, Nick.
Nick.
And thank you. Yeah.
Double Nick. Nick square.
Nick.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Okay, I can let you guys go. I'll go ahead and stop recording here.
Okay.
Let's see.